Princess Mira of the Verdani stood on the observation deck of the Verdani cruiser as it approached Earth. The blue and green planet stretched below her, peaceful and alive. She had seen many worlds in her life, but Earth was different. Its beauty was simple, almost humble, compared to the glittering cities of her homeworld. Mira's long violet hair shimmered under the soft light of the observation window. Her eyes, a deep silver, reflected both curiosity and caution. Today she was not here as a princess alone. She was here as part of a delicate mission. She would meet a human who might change the fate of her people. The council had insisted that humans were too primitive to understand Verdani ways. They had warned her that humans were unpredictable and emotional. But Mira believed otherwise. She had seen humans communicate with empathy, with creativity, with bravery that even her people sometimes lacked. And among them was one human she had chosen to meet. His name was Leo. He was not a soldier or a diplomat in the usual sense. He was an ordinary man with extraordinary mind. Mira's advisors thought it risky, but she felt a strange certainty. She trusted Leo before even meeting him in person. The cruiser landed on Earth in a secluded valley surrounded by mountains. Verdani technology cloaked the vessel, making it invisible to human eyes. Mira stepped out, dressed in a flowing ceremonial robe that shimmered faintly in the sunlight. Her attendants followed, carrying supplies and communication devices. The air of Earth was warm and fragrant with the scent of trees and grass. Mira inhaled deeply. Everything about this planet felt alive in a way that even her advanced senses could appreciate. Leo was waiting. He stood with simple clothing and a calm posture, his dark hair slightly wind-tossed. He looked ordinary, almost too ordinary, but Mira had learned that appearances were often deceiving. When he saw her, he bowed slightly, not out of fear, but out of respect. Mira smiled softly and approached him. "Princess Mira," Leo said, his voice steady, "it is an honor to meet you." "The honor is mine, Leo," Mira replied. "I hope our meeting will be the beginning of something important." Leo nodded. "I believe it will. Humans have faced challenges for a long time. We know how to survive. We can learn from each other." Mira's silver eyes studied him carefully. She sensed no hidden motives, no tricks. He seemed genuine. That alone impressed her. "You understand the risk you take in helping my people?" she asked. "I do," he replied. "I also know that what we build together can be stronger than what we build apart. I trust we can succeed if we work together." Mira felt a surge of respect. She had heard many humans speak with courage, but few spoke with such clarity and purpose. In that moment, she realized why she had insisted on meeting him despite the council's doubts. This human could be more than an ally. He could be a partner. They began their journey to a nearby human research facility where Leo worked. Mira's entourage followed, and Leo guided them through forests and hills that seemed untouched by modern development. The air smelled of fresh earth and flowers, and Mira felt a calm she had not felt in years. As they walked, Mira asked about human history. Leo spoke of human achievements and failures, of times when humanity had faced danger and had overcome it. He spoke not with arrogance, but with pride and humility. Mira listened carefully. She noticed how humans could adapt and think creatively in ways her people often could not. They relied on logic, but also on intuition. That combination fascinated her. At the research facility, they were met with quiet respect. Leo introduced Mira to scientists and engineers who studied advanced technology and environmental systems. Mira observed them closely. Humans were far from her people in terms of technology, but their ingenuity was remarkable. They could create tools, weapons, and systems that solved complex problems using simple ideas. She began to see why Leo had faith in them. During the tour, news arrived of a disturbance in the outer regions of Verdani space. A rogue faction, the Koran, had begun attacking smaller planets allied with Verdani. The attacks were swift, and the Verdani military struggled to respond. Mira's heart tightened. This was worse than she expected. The Koran were known for their brutality and cunning. Leo noticed her concern. "Princess, we can handle this," he said calmly. "We need to understand them first. Every opponent has weaknesses. We just have to find theirs." Mira studied him. His confidence was not reckless. It was rooted in observation and understanding. That was rare in humans, she realized. Many of her advisors would have panicked in this situation. Leo remained composed, analyzing the situation calmly. Mira felt her trust in him grow even stronger. That night, Mira and Leo sat under the stars outside the facility. The sky stretched endlessly above them, filled with constellations that Mira recognized from Verdani maps. She shared her fears about the Coran, about the possibility of war, and about the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Leo listened quietly, nodding. "You are not alone in this," he said softly. "Humans and Verdani can work together. I will help you. We will find a way to protect your people." Mira felt a warmth in her chest. It was rare for her to feel hope so deeply. She realized that trust was not just about expecting someone to act correctly. It was about believing in their strength, their judgment, and their heart. Leo had all three. The following days were spent preparing for potential conflict. Mira introduced Leo to Verdani tactics and technology, and he responded with ideas that even experienced Verdani commanders had overlooked. He suggested using decoys, creating diversions, and finding unconventional routes to defend planets. His ideas were simple yet effective. Mira began to see why humans had survived in harsh conditions on their own world. Their thinking was flexible, unlike the rigid strategies of her people. Despite the growing threat, Mira felt a sense of calm she had not experienced in years. She trusted Leo not just because he was human, but because he had shown that he could think, plan, and act with precision. She began to believe that together, they could face any challenge. On the last evening before returning to Verdani space, Mira and Leo stood at the edge of a cliff overlooking a river that sparkled in the sunset. Mira looked at him and smiled. "I never thought I would meet someone who could give me hope like this," she said quietly. Leo smiled back. "You only have to trust, Princess. Trust is the first step toward strength. We will face whatever comes together." Mira felt her heart lift. She knew the coming days would be difficult. The Quran were dangerous and relentless, but with Leo by her side, she felt prepared. The alliance between humans and Verdani was no longer just a possibility. It was a promise. As the Verdani cruiser prepared to depart, Mira took one last look at Earth. She felt gratitude for the humans she had met and hope for the future they could create together. Beside her, Leo stood quietly, ready for whatever challenges awaited. Mira's trust in him was absolute. She did not yet know the full extent of his power, but she knew that his mind, courage, and heart were already extraordinary. The journey back to Verdani space would mark the beginning of a new era, an era where humans and Verdani could work together to protect the galaxy from those who sought to destroy it. And Princess Mira, guided by trust and hope, would stand at the forefront of that era, alongside the human she believed in. The stars ahead seemed brighter than ever, and Mira felt that this was just the beginning of a story that would change everything. The Verdani cruiser moved swiftly through space, leaving Earth behind. Princess Mira stood at the observation deck, her silver eyes scanning the stars. She felt a strange mix of hope and worry. Hope because she had found a human she could trust. Worry because the reports from the outer regions of Verdani space had grown more alarming. The rogue faction known as the Quran had already attacked 2 small allied planets, leaving devastation in their wake. Leo stood beside her, calm and observant. He studied the star maps projected in front of them, analyzing the movements of Quran fleets. "They are fast and aggressive," he said quietly, "but I notice patterns. They are predictable in some ways. We can use that." Mira turned to him, her expression serious. "Predictable? They have destroyed planets without warning. How can anything about them be predictable?" Leo smiled slightly. "Even the fiercest enemies have habits. They think they are clever, but they rely on what they know. We just have to find their patterns and act before they expect us." Mira felt a surge of admiration. Humans often relied on intuition, but Leo combined it with careful observation. He did not panic. He did not underestimate the danger. That made her trust him even more. The cruiser approached the Verdani homeworld, a magnificent planet with sprawling cities that shimmered like jewels under the sunlight. The cities were surrounded by lush forests and crystal-clear lakes. Mira loved her home, but she had never felt its beauty as deeply as she did now, knowing that danger loomed so close. As they landed in the capital city, the council summoned Mira immediately. The council chamber was enormous, with high ceilings and intricate designs that reflected Verdani culture. Elders and generals sat around a glowing table, their faces tense. "Mira," said High Elder Terran, his voice grave, The Coran advance faster than we predicted. Our forces are stretched thin. If they reach the outer colonies, we may lose control of important territories. Mira's gaze fell on Leo. We have a plan, she said. Leo has studied their movements. He believes we can defend the colonies if we act strategically. The council murmured in doubt. Humans were considered too primitive to influence Verdani strategy. But Mira's confidence in Leo was unwavering. Princess, General Varen said sharply, we cannot rely on a human. The Quran are ruthless. They will destroy everything. Mira held her head high. I trust him, she said firmly. Leo is not just a human. He understands the enemy in ways even we do not. I ask you to listen to him. Leo stepped forward. With respect, council members, we need to focus on the Quran's weaknesses. They are strong but predictable. Their strategy relies on intimidation and speed. If we force them to divide their forces, we can defend the colonies without losing everything. The council fell silent. Mira could see skepticism in their eyes, but she also noticed curiosity. Leo's calm presence and clear logic were hard to ignore. Over the next hours, they reviewed the Quran fleet's movements. Leo suggested using decoy ships to lure them into space traps, while Verdani warships would wait at key points to intercept. He also proposed creating energy shields around the outer colonies, a combination of Verdani technology and human innovation. Mira watched in awe as he mapped out the strategy with precision. We will need speed, he said. We cannot wait for them to strike. If we act first, we control the battle. Mira nodded. Then we act immediately. The following day, the Verdani fleet moved toward the outer colonies. Mira stood on the command bridge of the flagship, observing the coordinated movements. Leo had insisted on joining her, not in a ceremonial way, but to lead the strategy in real time. His calm presence reassured her. As they approached the first colony, alarms blared. Quran ships emerged from the darkness of space, fast and heavily armed. Their energy weapons glowed ominously, ready to strike. The Verdani fleet braced for battle. Mira's heart pounded, but she kept her composure. She had faith in Leo, and that faith gave her courage. Leo gave orders calmly. Divide into 3 groups. Use the decoys to lure the front fleet. The rest of you follow my signal. The Verdani commanders hesitated. Some whispered doubts about following human instructions. But Mira's presence reminded them of their duty. They obeyed. The decoy ships moved forward, appearing vulnerable. The Quran took the bait, chasing them aggressively. At that moment, Verdani warships hidden in nearby asteroids struck from both sides. Energy beams collided with Quran shields, surprising the enemy. Leo's strategy worked perfectly. Mira watched in amazement as the battle unfolded. Quran ships were forced to retreat and regroup. Their attacks became disorganized. For the first time, the Verdani had the advantage. Mira could feel hope rising in her chest. After the battle, the fleet regrouped at a nearby station. Mira walked alongside Leo through the corridors of the flagship. You were incredible, she said quietly. I did not expect humans to think this way about warfare. Leo shook his head. We are not perfect, but we learn quickly. And when we protect something we care about, we find strength we did not know we had. Mira smiled. She could sense a depth in him that was more than human skill. There was a calm power, a confidence rooted in experience and heart. She trusted him more than ever. That night, Mira and Leo discussed the next steps. The Quran were regrouping, and intelligence suggested they planned to strike multiple colonies simultaneously. Mira felt the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. Thousands of lives depended on their strategy. Leo placed a reassuring hand on her arm. We can stop them, he said softly. We just need to stay one step ahead. Their power is impressive, but it is not limitless. Mira nodded, feeling a rare sense of peace. She realized that trust was not just about hope. It was about action, planning, and courage. Leo had all 3 qualities. The next day, scouts reported that the Quran had begun a rapid advance toward another colony. Mira and Leo immediately reviewed the star maps. Leo pointed out several possible ambush points. If we control these choke points, we can split their fleet, he explained. We can make them fight on our terms. Mira was impressed. Humans were often underestimated by other civilizations, but Leo's mind was sharp, precise, and fearless. She could see why he had succeeded in earning her trust so quickly. As they prepared for the next battle, Mira took a moment to reflect. She had been warned not to rely on humans, yet she felt a deep certainty that Leo's guidance would lead them to victory. There was something extraordinary about him, something she could not yet fully understand. The Verdani fleet moved again, this time with Leo directing the strategy. They set up ambushes along asteroid belts and narrow space channels. When the Quran fleet arrived, they were surprised by the coordinated attacks. Energy beams struck from multiple directions, forcing them to retreat once more. The Verdani forces, guided by Leo, had turned the tide again. Mira watched him quietly. She had never seen such calm focus. Even in the face of a dangerous enemy, he remained composed. She felt admiration, respect, and an increasing curiosity about what humans were truly capable of. That evening, as the fleet rested, Mira and Leo stood together on the observation deck. Stars stretched endlessly around them, silent witnesses to the growing bond between human and princess. Mira realized that trust was not a weakness. It was a form of strength that could inspire courage, strategy, and hope even in the darkest moments. Leo looked at her and smiled. The Quran are strong, but strength alone does not win battles. Intelligence, planning, and determination can overcome almost anything. Mira nodded. I believe you, she said. And I believe in us. The stars outside seemed to shine brighter, as if echoing her thoughts. The battle for Verdani space was far from over, but with Leo by her side, Mira felt ready for whatever came next. She trusted him fully, not only because he was skilled, but because he had shown her the power of courage, loyalty, and intelligence. The Koran threat was real, but so was the hope that Mira and Leo had begun to build together. It was a fragile hope, yet stronger than any weapon. And as the fleet moved through the stars, Mira knew that the story of humans and Verdani working together was only beginning. The Verdani fleet moved swiftly through the dark expanse of space, guided by Leo's careful calculations. Princess Mira stood on the command bridge of the flagship, her silver eyes fixed on the radar screens. The Koran threat had grown stronger, and intelligence reports suggested that the rogue faction had gathered even more ships for a massive attack on Verdani colonies. Mira's heart felt heavy, but she drew strength from Leo's calm presence beside her. Leo studied the star maps carefully, his fingers tracing possible routes. The Quran want to strike quickly, he said softly. They believe their numbers and firepower will overwhelm us. We need to move before they reach the colonies. If we act first, we control the battlefield. Mira nodded, her trust in him unwavering. Then we act immediately. We cannot wait for them to strike. The fleet split into strategic formations, ready to defend the colonies. Verdani warships gleamed under the light of nearby stars, their energy shields glowing faintly. Mira observed the preparations with a mixture of pride and anxiety. The Verdani soldiers looked tense, unsure of their chances against the massive Koran fleet. Many still doubted Leo's strategies, hesitant to rely on human ideas. But Mira ignored the whispers. She knew that Leo had a mind unlike any she had seen before. As the fleet neared the outer colonies, alarms blared across all ships. The Quran had arrived, their fleet stretching across space like a dark shadow. Energy beams lit up the void as their weapons charged, preparing to strike. Mira's chest tightened, but she did not falter. She knew that courage was not the absence of fear, but the strength to act despite it. Leo's voice rang through the comms. Divide into 3 groups. Use the decoys to lure the front lines. The rest of you follow my instructions precisely. Verdani commanders hesitated, uncertain about following a human's plan. Mira stepped forward, her hand resting lightly on Leo's arm. Trust him, she said. We will follow his orders. We can succeed together. The decoy ships moved forward, appearing vulnerable to the Koran fleet. True to Leo's prediction, the enemy took the bait, chasing the decoys aggressively. At that moment, Verdani warships hidden behind asteroids and space debris struck from both sides. Energy beams collided with Koran shields, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. The element of surprise worked perfectly, and the Koran fleet faltered. Mira watched the battle unfold, her eyes wide with awe. Koran ships were forced to retreat and regroup. Their attacks became disorganized. The tide of the battle was shifting. Leo's strategic mind had turned what seemed like an impossible situation into a controlled engagement. Suddenly, a massive Koran warship broke through the front lines, heading directly toward the colony. Mira's heart raced. This ship was faster and stronger than anything they had faced before. She knew that if it reached the colony, thousands of lives would be at risk. Leo's eyes narrowed. I will handle this, he said calmly. Before anyone could question him, he activated a specialized command protocol that amplified his control over the fleet's energy systems. Energy beams from multiple ships converged with precision, striking the Koran warship at weak points. The enemy shields flickered, unable to withstand the coordinated assault. Mira gasped as she realized the full extent of Leo's skill. He was not just thinking strategically, he was controlling the battle with precision that no ordinary human could achieve. Every maneuver was calculated, every attack anticipated. The Koran warship shuddered under the assault and finally veered off, retreating to join its fleet. The battle raged for hours, but the Verdani fleet, guided by Leo, managed to defend the colonies. Koran ships were damaged, forced to withdraw temporarily. Mira walked along the command bridge, watching the soldiers work tirelessly. She could see the respect in their eyes for Leo. Even the most skeptical commanders began to recognize his brilliance. After the battle, Mira and Leo stood together on the observation deck of the flagship. The stars outside were calm again, but Mira knew the Koran would return stronger. She turned to Leo. "You were incredible today," she said softly. "I have never seen strategy executed with such precision." Leo shook his head modestly. "I am only human," he said. "But humans can think differently. We notice patterns, we adapt quickly, and we act when others hesitate. That is our strength." Mira felt a deep admiration. There was more to him than skill. There was a calm power that inspired courage in others. She realized that her trust in him was not misplaced. It had only grown stronger. The next day, intelligence reports revealed that the Koran were planning simultaneous attacks on multiple colonies. Mira's concern grew. They could not defend every planet at once. The challenge seemed insurmountable, yet Leo remained composed. "We need to predict their next moves," he said quietly. "They rely on speed and aggression. If we anticipate where they will strike, we can prepare traps. We can divide their forces and make them fight on our terms." Mira studied him carefully. His logic was clear, precise, and fearless. Humans were often underestimated, yet Leo's mind was extraordinary. She felt a strange curiosity about his true potential. Could humans have abilities beyond what her people understood? She did not ask yet, but she watched him closely. The fleet moved again, this time in a coordinated strike to protect the most vulnerable colonies. Leo directed energy shields, warship maneuvers, and communication networks with unmatched efficiency. The Koran attacked fiercely, but they were met with clever tactics that disrupted their coordination. During the battle, Mira noticed something remarkable. Leo seemed to anticipate enemy attacks before they happened. He moved with an almost uncanny awareness, guiding the fleet in ways that seemed faster than ordinary human reaction. Mira's mind raced. Could this human possess abilities that went beyond normal limits? One moment in particular made her heart stop. A Koran fighter broke through the defense perimeter, heading directly toward the flagship. Mira instinctively braced herself. Before anyone could react, Leo directed energy beams from multiple ships with precise timing. The fighter was stopped in mid-course, destroyed safely away from the flagship. Mira could not hide her astonishment. After the battle, the fleet gathered at a safe station. Mira walked beside Leo, her thoughts swirling. "There is something extraordinary about you," she said quietly. "I do not yet understand it, but your abilities are beyond what I expected from a human." Leo smiled faintly. "I am still learning," he said. "Humans have potential, Princess. When we protect what we care about, we can achieve things others think impossible. I do what I must to keep others safe." Mira felt a surge of respect and admiration. She realized that humans, often underestimated by advanced civilizations, could rise to challenges in ways that defied expectations. Leo was living proof. She trusted him completely, not only for his skill, but for his courage and heart. That night, Mira and Leo stood together on the observation deck looking out at the stars. The battles had been intense, but the Verdani colonies remained safe for now. Mira felt the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders, but she also felt hope that humans and Verdani could face any threat together. "The Koran are powerful," Mira said softly, "but with your guidance we have a chance." Leo placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We will do more than survive," he said calmly. "We will show them that intelligence, courage, and determination can overcome even the strongest enemy." Mira smiled. She had learned that trust was not weakness. It was strength. By believing in Leo, she had discovered a power that went beyond technology or weapons. It was a power of unity, strategy, and heart. As the fleet prepared for the next series of attacks, Mira felt a renewed sense of purpose. She would fight alongside her people, guided by Leo's extraordinary mind. Together, they could protect the colonies, face the Quran, and shape a future where humans and Verdani stood side by side. The stars ahead seemed brighter than ever. The battles were far from over, but Mira knew that with Leo they could face anything. Trust, courage, and hidden strength would guide them through the darkness. And as the fleet moved through space, she realized that the story of humans and Verdani was becoming legendary, a tale of hope and determination that would inspire generations to come. The Verdani fleet floated in the darkness of space, awaiting the next attack from the Quran. Princess Mira stood on the command bridge, her silver eyes reflecting the distant stars. The calm before the storm felt heavy. Reports indicated that the rogue faction had gathered their largest fleet yet. The Quran were planning a decisive strike that could overwhelm even the combined forces of Verdani and humans. Mira's heart raced, but she drew strength from Leo's steady presence beside her. Leo studied the star maps with quiet focus. They are powerful, but they are predictable in their overconfidence, he said. They believe numbers and firepower alone will win. That is their weakness, Mira nodded. She trusted him completely, yet a part of her wondered what else he could do. In previous battles, his abilities had seemed beyond ordinary humans. He anticipated attacks, coordinated energy beams with unmatched precision, and moved as if he could see every possible outcome. Mira sensed that his true power had not yet been revealed. The alarms sounded suddenly. The Quran fleet emerged from hyperspace, massive and menacing. Their ships bristled with weapons, energy beams glowing with deadly intensity. The fleet moved like a living storm, intent on destroying everything in their path. Mira took a deep breath, gripping the railing tightly. She had faced danger before, but this felt different. The enemy was relentless, organized, and confident. Leo's voice cut through the tension. "Focus on the choke points," he said calmly. "We will divide their fleet and strike where they are weakest. Trust me, we can stop them." Mira nodded, feeling a mixture of anxiety and anticipation. "Lead us, Leo," she said. The fleet moved as he directed. Decoy ships advanced, drawing the front lines of the Quran fleet. Verdani warships hidden behind asteroids and energy shields waited for the signal. Mira watched as the strategy unfolded perfectly. The Quran were caught off guard, their attacks faltering. Suddenly, a massive Quran command ship broke through the defenses, heading directly toward the Verdani flagship. Mira's heart leapt into her throat. This ship was enormous, heavily armored, and its energy weapons were already charging. It could destroy the flagship in seconds. Leo's eyes narrowed. He moved to the control console, his fingers flying over the interface with lightning speed. Energy beams from multiple warships converged with precision, striking the command ship at weak points. Mira could hardly believe her eyes. The enemy shields flickered and cracked. Then something extraordinary happened. Leo's body seemed to glow faintly as he focused. Energy flowed from him, controlled and precise, amplifying the Verdani fleet's weapons. The massive Quran ship shuddered violently, unable to resist the combined force. Mira gasped. She had seen humans with courage and intelligence, but she had never seen one manipulate energy like this. The Quran command ship finally broke apart, scattering debris across space. Other enemy ships hesitated, confused and shaken by the display. Leo remained calm, directing the fleet with unmatched precision. His abilities went beyond strategy and observation. He was using something innate, something far greater than ordinary humans could achieve. Mira felt awe and disbelief. "Leo," she whispered, What are you?" Leo turned to her, his expression calm. "Humans have potential," he said softly. "We have evolved in ways that even other civilizations do not fully understand. When we protect what we care about, our abilities can grow beyond ordinary limits." Mira's silver eyes widened. She had trusted him, admired him, and relied on him. But this revelation was beyond anything she had imagined. The calm power she had sensed in him was real, and it was extraordinary. The battle continued, but with Leo guiding the fleet, the Verdani forces gained the upper hand. Quran ships were forced to retreat, their formations broken and disorganized. Mira watched the enemy scatter across space, realizing that Leo had not just defended the fleet. He had turned the tide of the entire conflict. After the battle, the fleet gathered at a Verdani station to regroup. Mira walked alongside Leo, her mind racing with questions. "Your power. It is beyond what I imagined." How long have humans possessed this ability? Leo shook his head gently. It is not about time, he said. It is about choice, training, and the will to protect. Humans can develop strength beyond ordinary limits when needed. I have learned to focus my energy, to anticipate actions, and to control the environment around me. It is rare, but possible. Mira felt a deep respect and admiration. Humans, often underestimated by advanced civilizations, had hidden potential that could rival even the most advanced alien races. Leo's abilities were a testament to that potential. She realized that her trust in him had been wise. The next days were filled with preparation for the Quran's return. Mira and Leo worked closely with Verdani commanders, improving defenses and setting traps. Leo's understanding of both human and Verdani tactics allowed them to create strategies that the Quran could not anticipate. Every maneuver was calculated, every position carefully chosen. Mira noticed how soldiers and commanders alike looked to Leo with respect. Some were still cautious, but most had begun to recognize his extraordinary abilities. He inspired confidence not through intimidation, but through calm competence and unwavering courage. One evening, Mira and Leo stood together on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. "Do you ever doubt yourself?" Mira asked softly. Leo smiled faintly. "Doubt is natural," he said, "but fear cannot control action. When protecting others, courage becomes instinct. Humans can rise to challenges beyond what anyone expects." Mira nodded, feeling a deep sense of hope. She had faced many dangers in her life, but she had never felt so certain that victory was possible. With Leo by her side, she knew they could face anything. The final intelligence reports arrived the following day. The Quran had assembled an even larger fleet and planned to strike multiple colonies at once. It was the most dangerous challenge yet. Mira's heart pounded, but she remained calm. She trusted Leo fully. "Prepare the fleet," Leo instructed. "We will meet them together. Their strength is impressive, but it is not enough. Focus, strategy, and determination will win this battle." As the Verdani fleet moved into position, Mira felt a sense of pride and hope. The alliance between humans and Verdani had grown stronger. The Quran had underestimated them, and Leo's hidden power had become a decisive factor. She realized that the coming battle would not only test their strategy, but also reveal the true extent of Leo's abilities. When the Quran fleet emerged from hyperspace, the Verdani fleet was ready. Energy beams collided, ships maneuvered with precision, and the battle raged across the stars. Mira watched as Leo's calm power guided every movement, turning chaos into order. At one critical moment, a massive Quran dreadnought approached the flagship. Mira felt fear rise in her chest. But Leo's focus never wavered. He extended his hands toward the energy grids, amplifying the fleet's firepower with precision and strength. The dreadnought's shields failed, and it was destroyed without harm to the Verdani ships. Mira stared in awe. The revelation of Leo's true power was complete. He was no ordinary human. His abilities, combined with his intelligence and courage, made him a force that could rival even the most advanced alien civilizations. She realized that their alliance was not just strategic, it was revolutionary. After the battle, Mira and Leo stood together on the command deck looking at the stars. Mira spoke softly, her voice full of admiration. "I trusted you before, but now I see the full truth. Your power, your mind, your heart, everything is extraordinary. You have saved countless lives today." Leo shook his head. "I only do what I must," he said. "Humans can achieve great things when we have purpose. My strength comes from the will to protect and the trust of those who believe in me." Mira felt a deep warmth in her chest. She had found more than an ally. She had found someone whose courage, skill, and hidden power inspired hope and determination. The story of humans and Verdani working together was only beginning, and she knew that with Leo they could face any challenge the galaxy could throw at them. The stars outside shone brighter than ever. The Quran had been defeated, but they would return. Yet Mira felt no fear. She had seen the true potential of humans. She had witnessed Leo's extraordinary abilities, and she knew that together, they could protect the galaxy and shape a future where courage, intelligence, and unity would prevail. Mira turned to Leo. "The future is uncertain, but with you I am not afraid," Leo smiled, his calm presence steady and reassuring. "Then we will face it together, Princess. Whatever comes, we will rise." The stars stretched endlessly before them, silent witnesses to a revelation that would change the fate of worlds. Mira knew that the alliance between humans and Verdani had become unbreakable. She trusted Leo completely, and in that trust, she had found strength greater than any weapon, greater than any fleet, greater than any enemy. The story of hope, courage, and hidden human power was only beginning, and Princess Mira was ready to face it, side by side with the human she trusted above all. The Verdani fleet moved in perfect formation, ready to face the final assault from the Koran. Princess Mira stood on the command bridge of the flagship, her silver eyes scanning the horizon of space. The enemy fleet had grown massive, the largest they had ever faced. The Koran were determined to crush the Verdani and end the alliance with humans once and for all. Mira felt the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. Thousands of lives rested on the outcome of this battle. Beside her, Leo remained calm. He studied the enemy movements, analyzing patterns and predicting their attacks. Mira had come to rely on his insight, but this time, she sensed that even his extraordinary abilities would be pushed to the limit. "They are stronger than before," she said quietly. "This battle will be unlike any we have faced." Leo nodded. "I know," he said. "But strength alone does not win battles. Intelligence, strategy, and determination will. Trust me, Princess. We can overcome this." Mira felt a surge of confidence. She had seen Leo's hidden power in previous battles, the ability to manipulate energy, anticipate enemy moves, and coordinate the fleet with precision beyond ordinary humans. She trusted him completely, and that trust gave her courage. The Koran fleet emerged from hyperspace, a dark wave of ships stretching across the stars. Energy beams glowed ominously, and their dreadnoughts led the charge. The Verdani fleet braced, shields humming and weapons charging. Mira felt her pulse quicken, but she held steady. She was ready to face whatever came, guided by Leo's wisdom and power. "Focus on the choke points," Leo instructed. "Use the asteroids and energy fields. Divide their fleet and strike at the weak points. Timing is everything." The fleet moved as he directed. Decoy ships advanced, drawing the front lines of the Koran into ambush positions. Verdani warships hid among asteroids, ready to strike from unexpected angles. Mira watched in awe as the strategy unfolded with precision. The first clashes were intense. Koran ships fired energy beams that lit up space, forcing Verdani ships to maneuver rapidly. Mira's chest tightened as she saw some ships take damage, but Leo remained calm, issuing orders and directing firepower with unmatched accuracy. Every attack seemed to find its mark, every movement anticipated. The Koran were strong, but they were unprepared for this level of strategy and coordination. Suddenly, a massive Koran dreadnought broke through the defenses, heading directly toward the flagship. Mira's heart leapt into her throat. This ship could destroy the flagship in seconds. She braced herself. Leo's eyes narrowed. He stepped forward and activated a command protocol that channeled energy from multiple ships. His body glowed faintly, a radiant aura of focus and power. Energy surged from his hands, connecting with the fleet's weapons. Mira watched, stunned. The dreadnought's shields flickered under the force. With precise control, Leo amplified the attack, striking weak points in the dreadnought's hull. The massive ship shuddered and then exploded into fragments. Other Koran ships hesitated, confused and shaken by the unexpected power. Mira's mouth opened in astonishment. She had seen Leo manipulate energy before, but never on such a massive scale. The battle raged for hours. The Koran attacked fiercely, but Leo's strategies turned the chaos into order. Verdani ships moved like a single organism, coordinated and unstoppable. Mira could see the respect and admiration of the soldiers and commanders alike. They trusted Leo completely. During a critical moment, a fleet of Koran fighters tried to bypass defenses to reach the colonies. Mira's heart pounded. She feared for the lives of the people on those planets. Leo's hands moved over the command interface, and energy flowed from him directly into the defense systems. Shields strengthened, weapons fired with perfect timing, and the Koran fighters were destroyed safely away from the colonies. Mira felt awe. His power was extraordinary. After the battle, the Koran fleet began to retreat. They had suffered heavy losses and could not withstand the combined intelligence and hidden strength of Leo and the Verdani forces. Mira realized that the war was essentially over. The Koran would no longer be able to threaten the Verdani colonies with such force. The fleet regrouped at a Verdani space station. Mira walked alongside Leo, her mind racing. "I cannot believe what I saw," she said softly. "Your power. It is beyond anything I imagined. You saved countless lives today." Leo shook his head. "I only do what I must," he said quietly. "Humans have potential beyond what other civilizations understand. When protecting those we care about, we can achieve strength that seems impossible. I do what I can to keep people safe." Mira felt a deep respect and admiration. She had trusted him before, but now she understood fully. Leo's power was not just extraordinary abilities. It was his intelligence, courage, and heart combined. He had changed the course of the war. Over the next days, Mira and Leo worked to secure the Verdani colonies. They repaired damage, strengthened defenses, and organized humanitarian efforts. Leo's strategies ensured efficiency and safety, while Mira's leadership inspired hope and courage among her people. The alliance between humans and Verdani grew stronger than ever. Mira realized that their cooperation was not just about defense. It was about unity, trust, and shared purpose. Humans had proven themselves capable of extraordinary feats, and Leo had revealed the hidden potential that her people had underestimated. One evening, Mira and Leo stood together on the observation deck of the flagship, looking out at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, calm after the storm of battle. Mira felt a sense of peace she had never known. "Leo," she said softly, "the future is uncertain, but with you I am not afraid." Leo smiled, his calm presence steady and reassuring. "Then we will face it together, Princess," he said. "Whatever comes, we will rise. Humans and Verdani united are stronger than any enemy." Mira nodded. She realized that the story of humans and Verdani was no longer just about survival. It was about hope, courage, and possibility. Together they could explore new worlds, protect the galaxy, and inspire generations to come. The stars outside seemed brighter than ever. Mira knew that this was just the beginning of a new era, one where humans and Verdani worked side by side, combining intelligence, strength, and heart to face any challenge. The Koran threat had been defeated, but Mira and Leo understood that vigilance was necessary. Yet with trust, courage, and hidden strength, they knew they could overcome any obstacle. Mira turned to Leo, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You have changed everything," she said. "Not just the war, but our future." Leo smiled. "We changed it together," he said. "Humans and Verdani united. That is our true strength." Mira felt warmth and hope spread through her heart. She had found more than an ally. She had found someone whose courage, skill, and hidden power inspired her and her people. Together, they had faced the greatest threat in Verdani history and emerged victorious. The story of humans and Verdani was now a story of legend. A tale of trust, unity, and extraordinary potential. Mira knew that the future held challenges, but with Leo by her side, she felt ready to face anything. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, full of stars and possibilities. Mira and Leo stood together, confident in the strength of their alliance. The Quran had been defeated, the colonies were safe, and a new era had begun. Mira realized that the greatest power was not technology or weapons. It was trust, courage, and the willingness to rise above fear. Leo had shown her that humans, underestimated for so long, could achieve greatness beyond imagination. As the Verdani fleet prepared to continue their journey, Mira knew that the galaxy would remember this moment. Humans and Verdani, united in trust and courage, had changed the fate of worlds. A new era of hope, exploration, and strength had begun. Mira turned to Leo one final time, her silver eyes reflecting determination and admiration. "Together we will protect the galaxy," she said firmly. Leo nodded, his calm confidence unwavering. "Together we will rise," he said. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and the story of humans and Verdani was only beginning. They had faced the impossible, revealed hidden strength, and secured a future where unity and courage would shine across the galaxy. Mira smiled. The new era had begun, and with Leo she was ready to meet it.